My name is Scott Costello. I work for Panini Kabob Grill. I am in purchasing and I am the systems administrator for Crunch Time. I started working there this February. It was my introduction at that point to Crunch Time. I've been in the restaurant industry doing at different locations, different places for almost 20 years now. We're around about 20 years. Within a few weeks, my first thought was, holy cow, I could have totally used this everywhere else that I've been. The primary challenge that Panini Kabob Grill had prior to going with Crunch Time was purchasing and inventory. We at Panini Kabob Grill were a scratch kitchen. And as a scratch kitchen, we're constantly having fresh produce, fresh protein, everything coming in on a daily basis. And so keeping and managing that at all of our locations was a really daunting task. Making sure that our locations weren't wasting too much product and that they weren't overusing, overportioning, or underportioning or the likes. And so keeping track of all that prior to Crunch Time was largely a spreadsheet type of operation. We used other systems previously, but bringing it all into one umbrella made everything so much easier. As we've begun to implement Crunch Time and use it to hold people accountable for the things that they're supposed to be doing, we're starting to see a lot less of variances within waste. We're seeing a lot less overages on labor. It's still not a zero-sum gain, but at the same time, we're seeing those numbers get a lot closer to what we'd like them to be or to an accurate count. I talked about adding additional new restaurants this year. Going through Crunch Time to get everything configured and set up with the vendors, with the purchasing, with the labor scheduling, with all of that would have taken weeks previous to Crunch Time. But now within Crunch Time, we can just take and easily put everything together. And so now opening a restaurant becomes a much, much easier process. Both suggested prep and suggested ordering are a huge part of what we do. We have a policy in place where they become an absolute established baseline. And we hold kitchen managers accountable if they do not prep according to what Crunch Time puts in suggested prep. We find more often than not that Crunch Time suggested prep is far more accurate than what we would have. I've been in the hospitality world for over 20 years. And as soon as I really started getting my hands around Crunch Time and the power that exists within the system and the ease of which it can be rolled out and used on a location level, all of a sudden my eyes were just blown wide open because I think of all the time that I spent at previous locations, at previous situations that easily could have been managed and saved using Crunch Time. I don't know how restaurants do it without Crunch Time in any level of efficiency.